Peace and grand rising to the sovereign, original, indigenous, natural, divine heirs. Today is February the 12th, 1442 on the ancient moon calendar, 1443 on the ancient sun calendar, and 2023 on the Greco-Roman civil calendar. All rise and stand and remain standing into perpetuity. This is the sovereign living ancient, Article 3, Moorish American Al-Moroccan Universal Court Action, and Congressional Assembly. We are the Sovereign Living Justice. I am Pauline Denise Ritchie. My free chosen sovereign appellation is Light Tajiri Bay. All are in capitis diminution nolo in red ink, in propria persona sui juris, in proprio solo, and in proprio heredes. All Moors are the original indigenous, sovereign, ancient Al-Moroccan, Moorish American descendants of the great pharaohs of Kemet and of the ancient Moabites and Canaanites. Our full faith and trust, our allegiance, our credit, and our energy are hereby vested in ourselves, for we are the people who are the original indigenous, natural divine, sovereign, ancient empire state for Morocco. We're the de jure Moorish National Republic federal government. We are the ancient Washington District for Columbia. We're the Universal Moorish American Consulate. We are the Article 3 Moorish American Consular Court. Today, we are executing and exercising the law by our sovereign status, which is the original indigenous, natural divine, sovereign, ancient Article 3, living United States District for Columbia Court, and we are the sovereign fiduciaries, creditors, executors, trustees, ministers, possessors, and titled beneficiaries in this cause for action. We are peace, we are one nation, one state, one empire, and one God. We hereby recognize ourselves and hereby accept our sovereign ascension, issue a universal creditor's bill for possession and custody over all judgment debtors. We exercise all sovereign rights at this time and at all points in time, non-pro-tunc. So we're going to go ahead and open the table. Just one moment. We'll take it out of lecture mode so that we can all. And the first thing that I want to place on the record is that we have officially transformed our own minds to the ways of our ancient foremothers and forefathers. Our ancient ancestors were born with wealthy states of mind. Wealthy minds create entire systems. Poor minds talk about their lack of money, lack of government, lack of unity, which is why they are poor. Rich people talk about things like cars and how the cars work. They talk about homes and how to build them, etc. But that is not the same as the thinking of our birthright. We are born with a thought life that, when cultivated and tested for growth, will manifest wealth systems. When we think of the systems that our ancestors created to include the entire life system, they created all that we are with infinity in mind. Our ancestors always were the government.
You can manifest anything but a Range Rover.
Always have been the government. They always were the state. They always were the treasury. They always were the land. And when I say they, I mean we. We always were the state. We never were not the state. We never were not the government. We always were. We've always been the wealth, the treasury, the land, the source for all resources, the stars, the galaxies, etc. When our ancestors created the state, they embedded our bloodline into the state and wrote that into the Holy Quran for the Moorish Holy Temple for Science, the Biblios Heliotech, the Constitution for the United States, and on and on and on, and all other ancient documents, to include the Code for Hammurabi, the Bill of Rights, all of those documents, all treaties, all constitutions prior written by our ancestors. Our bloodline is written into that. So all we had to do really from the beginning in order to be the state, the treasury, the land, the resources, etc., is to proclaim that that is who we are. And our ancestors are standing right next to us saying, they're awake, they're the state because we said they're the state. And now because they say they're the state. We are our ancestors returned. So there never was a time when we weren't the state, the government, the law, etc. So with that being stated, when we think about, the systems, we have created an economic system, a governmental system, a system for states, nations, governments. We have literally created that. And so as we continue to create these systems for our own use and for the use of all nations, we need to, and not that we need to, but it is suggested that we all continue to renew our minds with what we've created. Okay? We've created our own language, which we have the authority to create because we're the Phoenicians. We created all language initially anyway. And our ancestors said, okay, when they wake up, they're going to know that as a nation, that is one of the principles of nation and statehood. All nations, all states have their own language.
Pauline's Comedy Hour.
Money. They have their own money. They are their own government. Well, what makes you your own nation, state, and government is you assemble together, such as we've done on our territory. Now, let us just know for sure that the earth is our territory. Superseded and completely smashed everything that has to do with the state. We are the state, always have been. Even in our sleep, those who were pretending to be the state had to get our signature on something before it could be done. Whether it be accessing a perceived treasury or no matter what it is. And so all that we have done is the same thing that our ancestors did. We said, okay, let's put our systems in place and then connect all of our systems together. We started out with nationality. That is the basis. In other words, we are all one. That's the first system that we activated. And again, we're only activating that which already is. We just had to be competent to say it and then demonstrate it. We've always been who we are. We've always been the state, the nation, the government. It's in our blood. All we had to do was wake up and start saying, okay, what does it take to be a state or a government or a nation? We need to do this, 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 and this. We've done those things repeatedly over and over. And here's the thing, even if, let's say we had forgotten something, which we didn't, and we said, okay, we forgot about the language part. Let's just say that because we know we have ancient English as our national language. But let's just say if we had forgotten about that, or better yet, if there are any governments, any Moorish governments out there who have not developed their own language, you can use ours because we're one still. So there are many other governments that I could epilate, okay, or some would say name. We say epilate. There are many governments that I could list and out there who they may not have their own money, but they're still the government because we have our own money. So they can use ours at any time because we're one blood. They may have decided they want to do things one way. For example, they decided they wanted to have a money ceremony or whatever. Okay, if we decided we wanted to do ours a little differently, that does not negate the fact that we're still the state, we're still the government, we're still the law. Why? Because we are directly connected to our ancestors. Now, let's think about this, because even from the very beginning, when we first, when Chalet Moore Bey and Sage Bey and myself and Grand Sheik Taj and some of the Empress Sharon, I could name the list, just many of us came together and said we're going to do the Consular Court Restoration Development Team. When we said that, immediately, there was reaction in the universe to us just coming together and saying, we're going to govern, and we're going to activate our courts to do that. So,
shouldn't you be on the national news every night,
regardless of when, some say you have to do a whole checklist of things to say that you're a state. We've already done those things. Whether they're acknowledged by others or not is okay. They'll acknowledge them when they get ready. The fact is, we've acknowledged our statehood. Many more have put that on the public record. They're the state, they're the law, they're the government. Any Moors who use our letterhead, and when I say our, it's their letterhead too, so they can use it, because they're the government, they're the state, they're the law. This is important right now, especially when you talk about governmental systems, when you talk about money systems. And I will say this, not one time has any foreigner or actor, rather, gone on to the quote-unquote media and said, oh, they're printing money over there. That's not real money. Not once. And they've received it many times. We've notified, Moors have sent out dolarium all over the place. And not one time did anybody say, get on the news or whatever and say, publicly, oh, this is not real money. Not once. Wouldn't you think that they would at least attempt to pretend?
Nobody ever heard
No, they haven't. No, they haven't. No, they haven't. And the one psychological operation that's not working, and I know that's why they keep coming and trying to interject, because they keep trying to do a psychological operation that makes us think that we're by ourselves and that we're all in this little corner and it's only a few of us and all of that. That's a psychological operation that is just not working. It's just working for them. Because we keep going and we keep proclaiming and we keep notifying. Think about this. All Moors who've done a lien for $100 million. For $100 million in gold, no less. You've put those liens out there and notified, and not one news story saying all of those liens are false. That should have been, if it's $100 million, it should have been all over the place that all these people are filing these lawsuits, quote unquote. But they can't say anything like that. They can't. It's too many of us that are governing. So that was kind of like the last vestige of a psychological operation that could have been used, is to make you think that you're smaller in number than you really are, and that you're not as powerful as you think you are, and that your documents don't work and all of that, when we know better. Why? Our ancestors are here with us. Our ancestors know what they're doing. They know what they're doing. And it's just a matter of, if you have to keep asking people outside of you about what you're seeing, we suggest you go within. Go within. And that's for all of us. Go within. And what do you hear? And then do the study. Do the study on who we are. Do the study on why all of these pyramids are on this landmass and ain't nobody said nothing about them. Do the study on why we went to all these quote-unquote education centers, and not once did they put in the book, there's a pyramid right down the street from you. It's ancient. It's been there since time immemorial. Why is that? Because it's not their job. So if you're looking for validation out there, it's plenty of it out there now, by the way. But it's not their job to tell us who we are. It's our job to tell them who we are. We tell the whole earth who we are. You think they're muting numbers for nothing? No. You didn't even know you had a nationality. That should tell you that you've always been the nations, because nationality, the root word is nation. That you've always had your own language. You just didn't know what it was, and they weren't supposed to tell you. It was supposed to come straight from the Spirit that is within all of us. Our systems are supposed to come straight from our spirit. That's within all of us. Period. And, we can look at treaties and documents and things that we see out there. We do look at those all the time. We look at them and then we say, okay, this was an act. It's not the law. They never even say it's the law. They call it acts because that's what it is. It's an act. It's not real until we make it real. You know why? Because you can look at one treaty or law over here and it will say one thing, and look at another one over here and it'll say the exact opposite, or what is perceived to be the opposite. It's just like the biblioheliotext. It'll say one thing one place and then the exact opposite down the way, a little ways in there. Why is that? That's by design. Why? Because we get to choose. We get to choose. There are some Moors, it's stated twice in the biblioheliotext, and we stated a third time. We are gods. Period. That's plural. We are gods, and together we are one God. But there are some Moors who are not comfortable with that because of their programming. We're not going to bash them. They can be whoever they say they are, and if they feel like they want to worship a God, they can worship a God if they want to, but that won't change the fact that they're still God. Still, whether they admit it or not. Whether they put their hand on a holy Bible and take an oath or not. And we don't even swear oaths, because we don't have to. Who would we be swearing an oath to? Ourselves? No need for that. We just need to be who we are. So with that being stated, I'm really excited for us. I'm really proud that we have come this far. We've learned so much about who we are, and we've demonstrated so much about who we are. And, we have to keep in mind that not all of us are at the same place on the timeline. Some are at different places on the timeline. Okay. We're okay with that. We're okay with that. And that's not going to stop us from loving each other. When we first declared who we were, we said we were the consular courts, and, back in 2017, 2018 time period, we even had some Moors who were saying, you're not the court, because of this or that, or this or that. It doesn't really matter what they say. We knew we were. We knew we were because our bloodline says we are. And even in our sleep, we were. Because we had to keep signing our consent away, presumably. So we are. I would just say that the ancestors are making it clear to us that we should be patient with one another as we grow. our states, our nations, our governments, our courts, everything that our land, our resources. Let's give each other a little room. You know, me personally, I don't. No one cares what I think personally. So let's stay off that. Let's stay on the us. We've already got this. We were born for this. We were born for it. And so, with that being stated, I just wanted to put a little bit of that energy on the record. You know, that where resources and wealth are concerned, how can you ever receive any wealth if you think you don't even deserve it because you don't know who you are and you think someone will come and take it from you? Someone who does not even have jurisdiction over you. So, yes, we look at the documents and things that are out there, but we tailor them to our specifications. And that's from start to finish. And from one nation to the other, we can tailor them so that we just continue to come together that way. You know, wealth and wealthy mindset are systemic. You see, and that word systemic is very, very vital. It's an important term, because even when you say that you are de jure, that's a natural system. So you must understand systems in order to do de jure government properly, like what we do. We are de jure government. Why? De jure government must be de jure first in order to even put systems in place. Period. And during that time period, there will be tests, and we demonstrate, and then we look at how that demonstration turned out, just like any other good scientists do. That's why this is called Moorish science and not Moorish religion or Moorish, I don't know. It's called Moorish science. We as the scientists, we put our laws in place and then we test them and we say, okay, that test turned out this way. So let me go back and look at the test and see how I can adjust it so that I get a better, something that I prefer, an outcome that I prefer. So as more scientists who are the government, the law, and God at the same time, all we have to do is just decide that, okay, this is the demonstration that I want to do. I'm going to demonstrate it. I'm going to put the demonstration on in writing, because that's what good scientists do. They do the research. They pull together the tools that are necessary to demonstrate whatever it is they're demonstrating. If those tools are a allodial title, nationality, a lien, a court action, a fiduciary document, and then stating that your capitalism is yours, then those are the tools that you bring together, and then you demonstrate, and then you say, okay, that demonstration turned out this way, but I noticed they did this. So let me see where I can tweak this, or not tweak it, but adjust this demonstration so that demonstration, because let me tell you that we have always been trained to look at gold and silver and things like that as commodities. Commodities and capital are very similar. One introduces the other. The most important and most valuable capital comes from the commodity of our intellect, our bloodline, our birthright, our spirit, ancestral spirit mind. Our intellect and our spirit mind and our ability to create commodities and capital systems is the real wealth. Us coming together like we've come together here is the real wealth, and everybody in this whole universe knows that. Us coming together, that's the number one commodity, the number one capital, the number one source. There is none more valuable. We are the commodity. And let me put that this way. Our thoughts are the commodity. We're the source. We're the gods of those commodities. We put these systems in place, and then we use them, and we test our systems, and we try our systems. And our subjects are here to say, okay, when the system does this, the subject automatically knows, because that's part of a system. The subject already knows, okay, when I see this come, I do this. When I see that come, I do that. Or when I see this come, if I don't know what to do, I'm not going to do anything. That's a system. It's ancient. So when you're talking about demonstrations, look at your demonstration, because I can do a demonstration and you can do the same demonstration. But if one of us has some energy that's a little different, and undoubtedly that will be the case, and I'm not saying the energy is worse or better, I'm saying different, then the outcome of that demonstration is going to reflect that. It's going to reflect that. Because the system knows her creator. Her creator is us, all of us. We've created a money system, an economic system, an economic life. You know, a lot of times you hear them talking about ecosystems and things like that. That's important. That's important. We create our system, but listen, the criticisms and things like that, we need them. We need to hear them, because what we don't want to do, and we've pretty much made sure that we don't do this. We're still growing in this area as well, is ensuring that we hear the criticisms, because we don't want to create an echo chamber. We don't want to create a system that has no one thinking, well, what if this happens? Or what if that happens? Or why is this? Or why is that? But when we hear those things, we have to know first and foremost that we're sovereign, and we can fix it. We can move it. We can change. We can adjust. We can alter. We can upgrade. We can put it forth or pull it back. Jurisdiction can be invoked at any time, etc. I had a Moore who said something very interesting. In fact, it was one of my financial consuls. And when I say financial consuls, someone that I can put things out there financially, and they will come back with something that we would normally term devil's advocate, and say, well, what about this? What about that? What about this? What about that? And we have to know the law and go back and look at it and make sure that all of those things are covered. And they said recently that the way that some Moors are doing things is that they are using the all caps to do the test, to test some things. And then they come back and use their sovereign status to address it. But they make sure that their all caps is under their sovereign authority. And I said, that's the same thing we're doing. We're the fiduciaries for our all caps. So we go test it, and then we say, okay, how did that turn out? It turned out this way, and this way. Okay, let's fix it. Or let's adjust. Or let's do this or that. That is not putting things out before they're ready. That's putting things out as you prepare them, and then adjusting it accordingly, because you don't know whether it's going to work completely the way you see it, but you know that it can work completely the way you see it. So then that's why each Moor is a scientist. Each one of us is a scientist. Some Moors, for example, let's use the national restaurant piece. Many Moors went out there and enjoyed themselves. And then there was some that they got told no. Well, the ones that got told no, go back and review that whole, replay what happened from start to finish, from the time you pulled up to the restaurant. Replay what happened and see what happened. The ancestors will always tell you, whether people want to hear that or not, is the ancestors will say, okay, at this part, you exhibited a little war energy. Or at this part, you didn't say this or that. Speaking of which, recently, I have here in my possession something. The ancestors had something to show up in the mail that is a Red Lobster, one of their promotions, a Red Lobster promotion. And that promotion, as I looked at it, this is one thing I do know about it, is that everything that we did was correct, document-wise. They have promotion codes on their promotions. And every promotion, and we knew this, in order to get any type of a discount, you have to have an 8-digit promotion code, right? The 8 digits are, for us, that's the 8 digits. So we're going to continue to demonstrate that particular, our national, anything that has to do with national promotions. And it's not really a promotion, it's a program. We're going to continue putting those out there, and congratulations to all the Moors who demonstrated that. No matter how the demonstration turned out, congratulations for even demonstrating your sovereign status with that. So with that being stated, we're walking right into continuing to access the estate. Because when you do those types of demonstrations, any demonstration that you do, all you're doing is accessing your estate, okay? And if you do a demonstration and you are not granted access to what's already yours, to your estate, then just go back and look at what happened. Because the estate is accessed a particular way. And that way is what we've talked about in the past. We have to know the law. And the law is basic. It's just, who are we? That's the law. And then everything that we do it peacefully. Okay. So just one moment. Let me unlock the meeting. So with that being stated, are there any questions, comments, wisdom with regard to what we've stated thus far? We have, for example, and again, I'll just say this: when we notice things about Moors and about their speaking, we want to, if we notice Moors that have programming that they brought with them from colonialism, it is suggested that we be patient with them. Be patient with them. That's all we can do, because we can't really, because we're one. We're not going to put each other. We're not going to denigrate each other. We're not going to, we just have to be patient with each other, because the ancestors will help us with our growth, all of us. We're all rising together. We're governing already. Islam nobility.
Islam, this is Cape Tum Ahad El. I'm in
Yes, Islam.
Pennsylvania territory. Yes, I have a situation. I woke up yesterday morning and I looked on the news. I was surprised, Daily News, and I noticed they had, I was trying to get some property here in the suburban area of Pittsburgh, Denora, and I've been trying for years to get this property, and the property has been sitting for years, and I even had to restore a door in the back of the property because vagrants was going in and taking light fixtures and stuff, and I'm trying to preserve this property. So I contacted I did all the paperwork, and the 90 days is up, so I go to the sheriff, and I give him my report that, the people that I was trying to contact, they were they couldn't be contacted. So I put it down as though they don't exist. They're lost at sea. So so I didn't get no response from the sheriff. So I go to the local the chief of police, and he says, "Yo, what you need to do? We don't have no power here in this town. You have to go to Washington County." So what I do is I put an affidavit. I made affidavits for the major the 10 judges. The 10 judges in Washington County. I leaned them all, and when I leaned them all, I turned on the news the next day, and they got a report on the Daily News. It's all over the news. It's like, they had to shut down the courtroom because of these they say packages was, and at first they tried to claim there was some substance in it, and the people got sick. A couple of people went to the hospital, and then the report came out. There was nothing dangerous in the packages. Everybody's safe. There's nothing wrong with the packages, and and then they put across the news. They're like, if you get any package from this place called Morris National Government, don't open the packages. Don't open the packages. Report it. So I heard after all this, I go to the local police and I say, what's going on? And he's like, he's the one who told me to go to them and take it to Washington because I need the house. I'm almost homeless. I'm trying to get the house. That's just it. And he says, I didn't know it was going to cause all this. There's no problem though. He said, it's just you scared them up, man. I'm like, I said, why didn't they read it? I mean, why didn't they read it? It's just an affidavit. It's nothing harmful. Everything is lawful. So I don't know what's going on next because they claim they want it's an investigation. So I really
it didn't work for Pauline on First Avenue, and it's not going to work for you.
Do you have a link to the story, Nobility?
Yeah, I have a link. It's on my Facebook page, Haru Staff. There's 2 news reports there.
Can you go to your Facebook page and then post the links in the chat here so that the Moors can see the stories?
Yeah, I'll do that. It'll take about maybe 20 minutes after I get my computer up and things.
If you would do that, that would be great, so that we could see this, because we would love to see the story. You said it was the Daily. I'm glad you see it that way because apparently they see it that way also. And
it was Daily. I was surprised. They had it like where I had the return address. I got the Morris National Republic, and it says the American. They took out the part where it says American National, and they just put Morris National Republic, and they forgot to put the whole the address. They shortened it out, but I didn't pay that much attention. But it's just I was surprised to see it right across the news. The Daily News.
Islam Nobility.
Shut down the courtroom. It shut down the whole court. They shut down the whole court in Washington County. They shut that whole court down. And I'm wondering what's going on. I mean, it was just they finally said there was no dangerous substance inside the packages.
Of course not.
They just was upset that it was they all were sent to the 10 judges. That they couldn't.
Well, wait a minute now. Don't people send mail to fake judges every day? Because they're not real judges. That's actually part of the problem. Part of the problem with that, nobility, is they know you're the judge, not them.
Yeah,
but I noticed you called them judges when they know they're not judges, and you called them sheriff when they know they're not the sheriff either, and they're not the police. So when the police, when the fakes told you that, when those fake police said that they don't have any authority there, they're right about that. They're telling you the truth.
Yeah.
They have to tell the truth.
I went and took it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I'm going to get on that. I'm going to put it in the chat, and I'll.
Yeah, because we would just like to see what they said, because every story. Now, know this, nobility. Every story has some answers in it, but you have to look closely and know how to know what you're seeing. Okay, they'll put some clues in there.
They gave me all the attention I need, because basically I was really trying to get this property I need. But now it's like I got the attention,
Yes, you do.
You could ask for more attention. So
you do.
everything that needs to be said, I can say it now.
Pauline still doesn't have First Avenue, and she tried to get that 2 years ago. 2 years ago.
And so
I yield.
Islam, nobility, thank you so much for letting us know about that. That's important to us, the way that demonstration turned out. And again, that's what we were saying about the demonstrations. You do the demonstration, you see what the outcome is, because of course everyone knows we're the government. That's everyone knows we're the state. Everyone knows we're the nations. That's not an issue. That's not on the table for anybody to debate. They didn't, not once did they tell you, no, you're not the government, no, you're not the state. They know you are. They know that.
Right.
So that demonstration, and this is the thing, they won't debate your authority, but sometimes Moors will. And that's the part that I'm like, ancestors, will you please let them know who they are? We're the state, we're the government, we're the law, all of that. So, I would like to.
I told them where they could go. I told them where they can go if they want to find out about me. Because I have like 40-something affidavits, at the Library of Congress, so
yeah,
I directed them to go and, if they want to know more about me, to go to the Library of Congress.
Can you put a link to your Library of Congress documents? Because we sent everything that we have to the Library of Congress, which is really us. That's just a repository, but we're the real Library of Congress.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah.
Right.
What's your appellation, nobility?
I'm going to get that. Case Tum Ahad L.
Okay. Yes, Justice Case Tum. Okay.
Yeah. I had sent you a gift. I don't know. They might have blocked it, because at the same time, I sent you a gift with some earrings that I do and stuff like that. And,
really?
And now they're talking about blocking anything coming, so I don't know if you get them. So you can look for it, but I'll send you the tracking number.
Okay.
So I wanted you to have some earrings to show some appreciation for your.
Thank you, Justice Case Tum. Thank you so much. Do you have WhatsApp, Justice Case Tum?
What's that?
What do you have this application on your phone called WhatsApp?
No, I don't.
Because that's generally how I communicate. It's the same phone number that I've always had, the 334-294-9828, and I use WhatsApp for that phone instead of
WhatsApp. Okay, I'll look into
phone
that.
service.
Right.
Yeah. I have WhatsApp, so we can talk on WhatsApp. Yeah, WhatsApp. If you'll just download
because she got her phone service cut off. She didn't pay the bill. It didn't.
Just a moment.
Okay, I'll look into that.
Yeah. So
the article and stuff, I did put it in your email at your Facebook page. The message I messaged you at the Facebook.
Okay, I've not been on my Facebook page for quite a while. It's probably been about 2 weeks since I was on my Facebook page. There's so much in the inbox, Justice Kaftoum. There's so much in the inbox.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I'll get that article over.
Yes, and also anything that you put in there, you can just email it to me. If you'll just email it to me, that'll be great.
The government.
Yeah, thegovernment@gmail.com or lightbaymoorishnation@gmail.com. Or lightbaymoorishnation1, the number 1 @gmail.com. Any of those three, and all three of them are just about at capacity. But we do the best we can. So Justice Kaftoum, thank you for letting us know that is what took place, because again, you have documentation at the Library of Congress, and they're just letting you know that there's still something in the documentation that needs to be looked at with regard to your demonstration. There's still something in the documentation. And what I think it is, and without seeing the documentation, for all of us, and this is for all of us, is an exchange, a proper exchange, using our money to do an exchange on the property. Because even according to the Constitution, anything that is private cannot be made public without just compensation, and vice versa. Anything that's public can't be made private without just compensation and due process. So you've done due process. You've done due process. Now there has to be just compensation. Because in reality, the subjects were claiming that it was a private place, private property, because they're corporations. And so you want to make it yours, which would really make it.
I've given them the DeLorean. I paid for it basically. I gave them the full price for the DeLorean, and I.
Good. That's probably why they're not having a problem with what you did.
Accepted in value. I did all that, accepted in value, and I gave them the DeLorean with it, But they haven't given anything back and haven't gotten any response, any unrebutted affidavit stands as law. They never rebutted anything, but I'm still not getting any response about the property.
Okay, and that's why I'm saying they don't rebut what we do because they can't rebut it. But listen to the story. That's why I want to see the story that they put out there, because that story is going to have some hints in it about maybe they're going to be pointing to something in the story. They're going to be pointing to
what's in the packages. They just talked about the package, but once they found out what's in it, they don't went quiet. They went silence. There's nothing.
It's because the documentation, especially if you put delirium on it.
Right.
It's correct. But let's look at the story. That's why I want to see the story, so that I can
work on getting the story on that.
Yeah, I want to see what they said about it, because they put answers in every story that they do. They practically tell you what's missing in if there's anything missing in the documentation or whatever,
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
In their news story.
Sure.
Yeah. And okay, Justice Kaftoum, but they didn't put anything out. You said that after you did that, you went to the quote unquote sheriff or quote unquote police or whatever. You went after that.
The local police here. I talked to the local chief of police here.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, "Yo, it's no problem. They got it all straightened out. But you had all Washington County. They was all upset. They shut down the whole Washington County courthouse. I'm like, that sounds ridiculous. I was telling why would they shut? Because of some letters. They found out that there's no dangerous substance. It's just letters. That don't seem like they took the right protocol. What they've done, that doesn't seem like the right protocol. The way they went about that, And
that's interesting.
And make it look like I've done something wrong,
When you really haven't, because if you haven't done anything.
I really haven't.
Especially, and I'll say this again: you've done the liens, you did the delarium, everything is done.
Yeah, and they haven't sent the delarium back, but they don't want to give up the property. But the full price of the property was given to them with the lien and all.
There's something in the story that they're going to be pointing to. There's something in the story. They always do. We've looked at news stories in the past of things like that, and there's always going to be answers there. They code answers into the story. Okay, what you did was, I know that what you did was correct.
Yeah, they try to say that. Some people say that I.
Well, what's your excuse, Pauline? Why didn't yours work then?
Go ahead, Nobility.
They try to claim that it shouldn't. It's just the fact that I send affidavits or liens with the 10 judges at one time. That it's like
there's no law against that. There's no law against that. So scaring somebody, that's not really.
All of them.
They're not really who they say they are. They're done. Oh, you know what? You know what I'm thinking? You unseated all of them. So when you unseat them, you got to be on you're on that square now. So you have to know that you're the judge there. Now, what that means is that you publish on the public record that you're the judge, but you've already proven that by your court actions and stuff.
Right.
Yeah. So let's look at the story. We'll look at the story, Justice Kaftoon.
Okay.
And see what we can hear.
Get the story out.
Thank you so much. And if you can,
on my Facebook page.
Okay.
Yeah, my Facebook page is Haru Staff. Yeah.
Can you spell it? Heru?
Haru, HARUSTAFF.
Okay. Okay.
That's Facebook. Yeah. They have a lot of art there and things. Yeah, but it's.
I don't have access to my Facebook page right now, which is okay with me. And
I'll try to get it up. I'll try to
try and
find it and post it.
Just do a right click and do copy link, and then come here to the chat and do paste the link in here to the story.
Yeah. Okay.
Can you what newspaper? Let me just try and look now and see if I can find it.
Oh, that's Washington County. What is it? Daily News or It was on the 9th. I believe the day was the 9th. It's the head story. The
is it? And it's Washington County, Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Okay.
Courthouse shuts down or something.
Okay. Let's
see.
Like
3 or 4 news reports on it,
Okay. Let's see if I can find it here. Okay. Daily News.
Washington County, Pennsylvania.
I see it here. I think I found it. Oh, it was on CBS News. It was on Observer, Reporter. No, CBS News and WPXI.
Yeah, it's a lot of reports about that. I mean, I couldn't.
Now,
and then it's
let me say this too, Nobility. I'm something is coming through in the spirit realm about that. They closed them.
Who gets letters from them?
Addressed to. It's unclear, but at least 2 people who touched the contents were sent to the hospital as. Okay, and I'm not making light of it. Okay. Operations Friday.
Did you listen to?
And when? Let me just see. When was this? Huh?
Did you listen to the report? They say they,
10. Okay, just one moment. I'm just putting some 2 and 2 together, actually. Let me just see. Okay. So I will say this about that. What I'm seeing here is that
it looked like they gave me a lot of publicity,
They did. What I'm seeing here is that
because I was surprised to see their name and all that, and they talk of Morris National, or across the news like that. I mean,
Islam, if I may. From what I'm recognizing is they're connecting dots, right? Because you're at Washington, the real Washington. He's at Pennsylvania, where the postmaster was. We know where all the postmaster, but one of the main postmaster locations was there. And then the Washington, the de facto Washington. So they did 3 birds with 1 stone at one point in time.
Okay.
Right there.
So I'm looking here on the screen. Please look on the screen so y'all can see what I'm seeing here. It says the documents include references to sovereign empire, office of the president, a former custodian listed Joseph Biden, office of the Treasury, United States bankruptcy, and the Empire State of Morocco. The contents were, and this is their saying, bizarre and disturbing enough that the water authority officials called their solicitor. Another similarity between they're calling the bosses in on this because the documents actually are,
I'm on my phone, so I can't even see what you're seeing, though.
But you see how it says water authority?
Yeah, I contacted the water authority for the water to be turned on. I've leaned them all, the head of the water authority, all of them over here.
My point in mentioning the water authority, because they're maritime admiralty, fictitious, that's their jurisdiction.
Well, just a minute. So it's saying here, packages sent to Washington County similar to packages sent to Charleroi last year. It says this is not the first time packages similar to the ones sent in Washington County today were distributed to different municipalities. So that's an acknowledgement.
The water authority, the electric company.
Yeah.
All the heads, the CEOs, the so-called CEOs of
we're the CEOs. They know that. Yeah.
Well, they claim to be CEOs, yeah.
Well, this is what this looks like.
The sheriff and them know.
He's not the sheriff. You're the sheriff.
The custodian.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let them know the work that's already been done, and how I'm not getting any type of response on my liens.
There's not. They really don't have. What can they say? What can they say?
I'm looking for the keys. I'm just letting them know I want the property, and I was going to the sheriff to try to get the keys to the property, telling him I sent him a letter saying that he needs to look into the matter and bring the keys to me from the property and telling them where to bring the keys to the property. That was basically it with the sheriff. The sheriff is in Washington County, the so-called sheriff, yeah.
It says here, officials said that there is not believed to be any threat to public safety at this time. They're using specific words such as public safety and things like that. Now, and then down here a little further, they put sheriff's office in all lowercase letters. Let me see.
I didn't see any of that you're seeing before. I only just seen a couple of reports. And I'm on my phone right now, so
okay.
The internet service here
now. There was an announcement over the speaker that was like, "Don't open any white packages."
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, I remember that.
Okay.
They telling people whoever get a package, don't open it and stuff like that.
Okay, let me tell you what I'm seeing here. Now, Morris, this is what I'm seeing. If you all see something, say something. What I'm seeing here is that this is the way that the exchange is going to take place. Because, see, what the nobility did was the right thing. He did everything right, and then even went down there to talk to the subjects, and they said, "Oh, no, it's not," because they know he is who he says he is, and he's done everything properly. What I'm seeing here.
I've not done anything wrong.
Huh?
Yeah, I'm like, if I've done anything wrong, I mean, I went to the local chief of police, and we sitting and having a chat, and if something was wrong, you'd have put the cuffs on me or something,
Well, but he knows that that he's actually occupying your seat. He's occupying your seat. So let me just say this about that. Moors, what I'm seeing is that this is the way that the transition, this is the way that the transition is going to happen, is we send our documentation, proper documentation, and then they're going to close for a certain amount of time, and then we, and you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. They had shut down for the whole day.
and they,
I mean, I didn't expect to shut the whole. Washington County is pretty big, They shut the whole courtroom down, the whole buildings.
Here's my suggestion. Here's my suggestion, and this suggestion is for all of us. Keep doing what we're doing. Keep sending our documentation out and all of that. Keep doing what we're doing. And let's keep watching what our subjects do. Because what I am seeing, to me, this looks like signaling. It looks like signaling. See, everything that they do is a sign or a signal for something, and it's generally Masonic. So them closing everything down means that we actually have the authority to close them down. They're really already closed in terms of them pretending to be any type of an authority.
Right.
Islam.
Islam.
When the good brother mentioned some days ago that when he went to go to the, institution formerly known as a bank, and they stated to him that they can't even accept or touch any of their banking documents and dolorium because they would be, essentially reprimanded unto termination. This is what's taking place here. They said that they can't touch the documents for fear that it was some type of whatever that they wasn't aware of, and they stated that 2 persons went to the hospital for precaution. That is showing you that they can't touch our documents because they will, quote unquote, be burned, essentially, hot coals, as it were. So this is just, like you said, a signal and a show and a stage showing us that, yes, we've been doing what we're supposed to be doing. Don't open is essentially don't touch. We can't do anything for you, like the good brother stated when he went to the banking institution. They can't touch it. So they're telling us that we have to, like you stated, go and do our own business at our own buildings.
Well,
this is what it's showing me.
That will happen. It's about to happen. But we don't have to confront anyone. We don't have to do any of that. What we have to do, or what it is suggested that we do, is keep notifying, keep sending, keep notifying. And then keep watching so that we can see. Because obviously there was nothing threatening. It was paper. But see, remember, they only exist on paper. They only existed on paper. They don't exist anymore on paper, but they previously did. Go ahead, Nobility.
No, I was just surprised. I didn't believe what I was seeing. I turned on. I'm looking at the news. I'm at a store or something, and I noticed my documents was across the news.
Yeah,
yeah. That's my stuff.
Yeah.
I was wow. It was sharp. It shocked me. That's all. I was like, "What's this?"
Yeah.
I know what that was. I had to go to the library and figure out what was going on.
Yeah.
Then I heard about they shut the courtroom down. Everybody had to go home for the day. I'm like, what?
Okay, I'm seeing here on the screen it says Moorish National Republic, Federal Government, Moorish American Consulate, in care of. Okay, I see what you're saying about the documents.
So, excuse me.
Islam.
Because that might be also a setup for them to say that maybe it may have been a bomb or something in the package, or an excuse for them to arrest the person that sent it?
No, because they would have done it all. No.
There was a reporter saying at the end of the conversation that there was no dangerous substance. There's no danger to the public, and everything is safe. They just were scared. It was their thoughts. They thought it was something dangerous.
No,
that was a problem.
Yeah. Well, and here's the thing. Our intentions are not dangerous intentions, so we know that it's not dangerous. They knew it wasn't dangerous too.
Okay.
They're sending signaling. They're signaling. Yeah. Islam and Cynthia. But wait a minute. Just before you speak, Cynthia, let me say this about signaling and things like that. Moors, please don't let the programming take over and you resort to fear as the response to everything.
Right.
Okay? Don't resort to, they trying to do this, they trying to do that, they trying to get somebody. It's that's not what that is. They're signaling, and we need to recognize Masonic signals and what's being said, so that we will know so that we will come together and decide how we want to deal with certain things. Islam Empress Cynthia, go ahead.
If they left the Islam, Morris, if they left the building, it sounds to me it was a change of jurisdiction, because that is part of their Masonic ritual, is when they change, they leave and then they come back and it's a different jurisdiction. I'm not sure if that's what happened there, but that's what it sounds to me. Yes. Islam, are you?
And Empress, you're absolutely right. That is Masonic for change of jurisdiction, to leave, to take leave. Now, this is the part that I'm still speaking with the ancestors about when we see things like this, is even if they said they came back on the 10th, they're not really back, because they never were there in the first place, really. But we have to know that, so that they won't say, well, we left the building, but they didn't come back, so we had to come back, because the building can't be abandoned. So those are the things that we're remembering, because we have to remember how to do what we're doing. We have to remember. And our memory, remembering of things in that manner, just one moment. Let me make sure that I put, okay, Nobility, you know what? I'm looking at the package that she's holding up, and it is in an envelope that's a little bit bigger than the ones that we use, but so you know what? They're not having a problem with the package. I mean, with the documents in the package, they're just saying the package. So to me, that just means that the size of the envelopes, because I used to send those kind.
Yeah. Well,
and
when you have those legal, excuse me.
Go ahead, Nobility.
Legal, I couldn't find the envelopes that would without having to bend the legal documents. So I got those. The white ones were the only ones I could find that was long enough that would take the legal documents.
Okay.
So you didn't have to fold them in order to get them in the envelope.
Okay. So we do have to fold our documents to get them in the envelopes that are the right size procedurally for our mailing process.
Oh yeah, you have to fold them.
We fold ours, our 8.5 by 14. But let me ask you something about that too, because it seems like they're pointing to the envelopes.
Right.
Did you use fiat, or did you use our mailing process?
No, I use our mailing process, but I go to Dollar Tree and I get those envelopes for like $1.
Okay.
Like $1.25 for those envelopes. Yeah.
Okay. The envelope is a little too big.
Everything else.
The envelope is a little too big.
Okay.
Yeah.
So where do you get basic, or do they have envelopes for legal documents? Because they seem too small for the legal documents. So
they kind of are.
I get those.
We in order for the process, the mailing process, in order for the mailing process to work properly, we said the 9.5 by 11, I believe it is. Let me go look. Let me go look real quick, Nobility, because I want to make sure I tell you that. Okay. Just one moment. Now, hopefully you can see what I'm holding up here on the screen. Can you, and Nobility, you did say you were on the phone, so I know you probably can't see it. But, Morris, can you all see what's on the screen? 9 by 12-inch catalog envelopes?
Islam.
Okay. These are the size envelopes that are, according to the, now, I love this. According to the process that we put on the public record, to use that mailing process where you don't use fiat for the government, these are the size envelopes that we put on the public record as the proper size. 9 by 12-inch. Okay. And so when we send 9 by 12-inch envelopes, when we send these kinds, then we don't have any issues with the mailing process going through. Now we do have some Moors who said, "Oh, I use 10 by whatever." Let me see, what was that they said? I used 10 by 14s and didn't fold a thing. Okay, but at minimum, these are the right envelopes. Okay. Something tells me, though, Nobility, that this is what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that they're giving us a hint about the shutdown and then us doing what we do. Because I know it's time for that. But we have to think through it. We got to think through it. We have to think through it. I know this is a great time for us. I know this is a great time for us. So let's just keep working and keep looking and keep thinking through. What I'm feeling in my spirit is that he unseated everyone pretending to be a judge, all of them. And by them leaving, that is proof that they've been unseated. But there's something that has to be done next, and I don't know what that something is right now.
Islam.
I think they want me to come forth and speak. I don't know. I don't know what. Because.
Well, Nobility, go within in your spirit, and just a moment. There's just one moment. Hold on just a second. Okay. Just a second. One moment. Okay. There was some background something coming from somewhere. I'm thinking that there's something that has to be done next, Nobility, and I don't know what that something is. I will admit, when I don't know, I have to say I don't know. I know that feeling that you're getting about stepping, you feel like there's something you should come forth and say. I know that that's the right feeling. I just don't know what to do about it. I don't know what to do about that feeling of once you shut them down, what do you do then? We already know, we know how to go to the buildings and start working, but maybe that's the next process, because there's a process to that. We need to know that process. Now, the ancestors told me about 2 weeks ago that one of the processes of going into the buildings is this. And again, we have to have access to it. But when you went, Justice Capsoon, when you went to the building to talk to them after that story, you probably could have gotten the key then. Based on what I'm hearing and seeing, this is what's coming through my spirit at this point. Is when we lean and unseat all the fake judges in a county, then we go to when we get the signal that everything's been received, like they signaled by putting a story out there and putting your documents up there.
Yeah.
Then
you're right. I think you're right about that. But the thing with the local here is he's doing business as chief of police. The one who I have to go to, I believe, I think the one I need to talk to right now, and I've been getting feelings about it because I had to lean him first, and this is the second time I leaned him, but he's definitely got the message now. Is the sheriff in Washington County.
I was just about to say that. I was just about to say that. That's where I'm going to get the keys because this guy here tells me that they got the keys over there. So of course they do.
That's where I have to go. That's what I'm focusing on now, and I think I'll get his attention now because of this. And that's from him because
let's pay close attention to that process. Because that's what's coming through in my spirit is that when we unseat the whole, and it has to be quote unquote county, it has to be that. When they're all unseated, then that means leaning everyone, and I mean everyone, lean them all, and then do a sovereign exchange on either the courthouse or a property or something.
It makes me feel bad about it. Everybody
don't feel bad about it. Because
I lead everybody. They bad.
Well, nobility.
That dude.
Well, nobility. This is the thing. The demonstration that you did was published so that we could look at it, because that's what they do. When Moors do things, they publish it so we can look at it, and see what the ancestors say about that, because we know the transition has to happen this year. And so,
I put it on record. My liens was on record at the the Moorish consulate and all that files.
Well, you did fine. Nobility, everything you did was fine. It was perfect. That was a great demonstration. Okay. It was a great demonstration. Be proud of it. Be proud of it.
Okay. Thanks.
We just need to know the next steps in this transition and what's coming through in my spirit right now, because usually when I come on the public record and I say that there's something that I'm still studying or that I don't know about, the ancestors automatically start downloading what to do. And what I'm hearing is exactly what you stated. Once we do our documentation and make sure that documentation is received, when we get that signal, and the signal can come in the form of a news story, it can come in the form of something in your spirit or something, then the custodian who was previously doing business as sheriff, any keys or anything that needs to be gotten can be gotten from them. But the exchange and all of that has to be done on the public record like you did.
Right.
And you sent Delarium.
The one I need to talk. It's what I'm planning to talk to next. Yep.
That's huge.
I sent the Delarium with the house and all.
Yeah.
And they didn't send it back, you know.
It's already yours.
And I'm still want to know about. I want to know about the DeLorean. If you didn't give me you didn't rebut my affidavit, so I didn't get no response. So I want to know where's my money.
They took it. They have it, and you know what? The place is yours, but we have to know the process of how to actually get the keys and things.
The keys, right? The keys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because did you do a allodial title on the place?
Yeah, I got a allodial title.
Of course you did. You didn't miss a beat, Justice Kaftoon. You did the process.
I got it all printed out and ready to show them the title.
So here's our suggestion, Noble Kaftoon. First, we send the highest honors on a successful demonstration, the highest. Now we say, go within your spirit and see what the ancestors say, because you're starting to feel the same thing I'm feeling about our office of sheriff, because that's our office. To go to the subject there and with your documentation and get the keys to the place. Yes. However the ancestors say for you to do that. Now, this is what would be interesting, Justice Kaftoon, is if at some point you want to give a list of each thing that you did. If you can remember everything that you did a lien, you did a allodial title, you did a delarium exchange on the public record, and whatever else you did. If you want to just number those steps that you did and where you sent them, that's going to help a whole bunch of Moors.
Right. Okay.
To just write down what it is you gave them, the subjects.
Oh, you mean what I put in the packages and the subject?
What paperwork? Yeah, what paperwork did you put for the property and everything?
Yeah, the property. I put the title or the lien that I made that was past due of the 90-day lien, and
yes.
Then I also had like the affidavit of accepting as value with
yes.
the amount and all that, accepting value and all that, and that's
yes.
when I gave them the DeLorean with it, the value.
Yes.
And there's another one, the indigenous faxeer for the
yes.
the
that's
property.
Insuring.
Indigenous faxeer for the price of the property. Yeah,
yes.
Securing the property. Yeah, I gave them that, and this information on me, you know, the what you call it, what's that? Me being the what you call
fiduciary.
It? Fiduciary, yeah, fiduciary documents, yeah.
That's important.
Fiduciary documents,
and
also the what's that? The United States bankruptcy, the bankruptcy
yes.
document. How the United States bankrupt? Yeah, the bankruptcy
yes.
document, and yeah, and basically that's it. And a few other documents about my status is being I gave them proof that my contract, the contract was between
termination.
The United States Corporation Company, termination of contract, yeah, all that, proof of the termination of contract, and things like that.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, well, I had a problem. I have a 19-year-old son that has a problem. They kept sending there's a sheriff, not a sheriff. He's a magistrate. So I had to try to. I'm trying not to go into that jurisdiction, but I'm trying to get him out of trouble because he's 19, right? But he's a little slow. So he has like some mental, and they trying to get him incarcerated for some things he's done when they know he's really like a 10-year-old in mind, but he's 19, and because he's got the mental, he's been diagnosed with sort of like schizo-like, and so they're trying to get him. So I had to put a lien on the magistrate because he kept, the threats, and I sort of did the best I can with this revocatorial document about accepting the charges for value and then accepting the charges for value, but wanting to settle out the case. And I had to put something about the what you call the his social and all that. I forgot the terms I used about canceling it out. And they was upset because the simple fact they wanted to get it in this account. It's all about the money, and I was trying to cancel it out, going in as my son's he signed a paper to have me as his what you call attorney in fact. And they didn't want me. They don't want me to be the attorney in fact. They don't even want me and they won't even accept my paper. So I had to send in a signature with him, and they still don't want me to come in the courtroom to speak for him when he can't speak for himself. You know what I mean? And I think that's
it doesn't matter whether they want you to or not. It's not about what they want.
Right, but he wouldn't let me in the. I tried to get the judge, the magistrate, a letter, and he's got this big police dude, this guy standing at the door. He won't accept my packages. I said, could you give this letter to the magistrate? So he wouldn't take it. So I wind up sending one to the magistrate. So that also is a problem because he's shook now too because
well, because they know they're not magistrates. They are not the magistrates, nobility.
So all of them, I got the 10 judges, the magistrate, all of them are upset because basically they're trying to lock my 19-year-old son up on some, and they know according to the medical records and that he's a little slow mentally, and they can't get him on that because he's already diagnosed with a mental condition.
So listen, nobility. Nobility.
Yeah.
Federal Rule for Civil Procedure, Article 4, Title 4, Sections 17 and 18 talk about persons and making sure that that a competent person or a like fiduciary is speaking for a competent person. Okay?
Right.
Federal rule, we've restated those federal rules for civil procedure. Okay? So I
gave them that.
Okay. So all of the documentation has to precede the date of whatever. So this is my suggestion to you. On the same day that they are claiming to have some court something is the same, before that day comes, you notify them in advance of that date that on that date at that same time in that same courtroom that you're going to be having a court action on that same matter. And that's how you get into the courtroom, because it's your courtroom. Okay.
So I try to make us give them a notice of a court date the same time and the same
time, same place, and everything, and then you go.
Okay.
On that same matter. See, you have to restate, and then the jurisdiction is what it should be. Okay.
sure about that.
Because you're and know that you're the judge when you go in there.
Right.
Okay.
But it won't not be like they'll take that as an insult. And they be threatened. They'll be threatened by that. Won't they be like they think they have this, and when you do that, it's like.
Have you done it yet?
It makes them feel real. No, I would think it would make them feel real small and threatened, wouldn't it?
Actually, when you do things like that, they know that you know who you are, and it actually brings peace to the situation. Because see, if you try to do it any other way, it's perceived as war, and they know we're not supposed to be at war. But the only thing that stops the war is our courts doing things peacefully.
Right.
Peaceful notification, knowing the process. The process is you send forth a court action for that same date. And then if you're led to go, go. If he's led to go, go. But if you're not led to go, you're the court. You're supposed to render your verdict. And you can render your verdict without ever going. You can render your verdict beforehand and notify them that a verdict has already been rendered in this action. You already know that your paperwork works. So just give it some thought, nobility. Take a deep breath. Try not to be overwhelmed. Because in reality, the very same documentation that you sent for the buildings and things for the property is essentially the same documentation that you send in that, with just a couple of one or two other things. So you've already done all the paperwork, with the exception of maybe one other one, stating that you're the judge in the case and that he is under your jurisdiction and this is your ruling, and then you state whatever your ruling is based on nationality.
Right.
Islam.
Yeah. I appreciate that.
Yes, Islam nobility. Just a moment.
Thanks.
You're welcome, because it's important that when we do get the win, we have to know what to do next after that. Yeah. And it can be a little intimidating, but not really. We have to still go forth. Right.
I'm gonna work on that. Yeah.
Yeah. Give it some thought. Give it some meditation. Take a deep breath and let the ancestors speak through your spirit. Allah will use your hands and your head and your feet to do the work. Allah will work through you. As you write, Allah is writing. Allah is the best of all planners, as you can see. You've already proven that. Islam. Nobility, and thank you again, Justice Kaftoum, high honors for the amazing demonstration. Beautiful. There was another noble who was going to speak.
Islam. This is Justice Howard. I just want to salute him, stand with him.
Yeah.
I want to honor him, encourage him, because I'm a father and a grandfather.
Islam.
You're going to be successful, brother. This has already been proven you're successful. Allah has guided you, protected you, uplifting you. Just continue doing what you're doing, and the victory is Allah's. I just want to encourage him with those words. Islam.
Likewise. I'd like to say high honors, and to know that you did the work. You did that. You know that you put the documents out there, and the only thing is the envelope. I've gone over the documents that they put out, and mind you, as Empress Light always states, there's their version and there's our version. So as we speak now, we're restating something that they stated in their jurisdiction. We're restating it the competent way because they can't speak for us, as we know they can't, right? But there is one thing that I would like to state about what you put on the public record, sovereign empire. And this is a receipt, essentially, that they put on the public record. An office of the President, date July 4th, 1776. A former custodian listed as Joseph Biden. Office of Treasury, in lower cases Treasury, United States bankruptcy, and the Empire State of Morocco. So Islam, that is the receipt. Yeah. Just like when Empress Light did her demonstration and she sent her documents to the place she sent them and they gave her receipt back, you just got yours publicly. That's it. Yeah. You got a public receipt of the documents you sent out. And they said former custodian, Joseph Biden. I mean, really? Yeah. Yeah. That's a who in the holler right there. Yeah. Yeah. Former custodian. Yeah. Yeah. And they're using our language.
Well, they're also verifying that they've been properly notified. Now, what they did with proper notification is their business, but they've been properly notified.
Former custodian. I was like, wow. Yeah. Former custodian listed as at that. And then they have bankruptcy.
Yeah. Yeah.
In 1776.
Yeah. Islam. Empress Chitali in the chat, she says she has a question. Why was the custodians doing business with FBI involved, but not the police or sheriff custodians? They all of the subjects in those offices were involved. And involved just means they looked at the stuff and said, it's almost time for us to go. And there it is on the screen. It says the FBI, along with the Washington County Sheriff's Office, Washington County Public Safety Department, Hazmat Team, Washington County District Attorney's Office, City of Washington. Wait a minute. What? City of Washington Fire Department, City of Washington Police Department, Washington Ambulance and Chair Service, and U.S. Postal Inspection Service to the Washington County Courthouse. Okay, so that's interesting. That's very interesting.
Because I can't see the screen.
Okay. One moment. Let me share. Thank you, Empress. Okay. Can you see it now, Empress? Is it there?
Islam.
Okay. Yeah, it's saying City of Washington Fire Department, Police, etc. And that's in Pennsylvania, at Pennsylvania territory. Okay. Because this is City of Washington also.
Islam.
When you look at some of the homesteading documents, quote unquote, the homesteading documents, it lists Federal Way and this area as City of Washington. But anyway, Islam, Empress.
Oh, I wanted to note also that it's not all it's also the jure post office, but it's also the first de jure court and treasury. Critical battery. And comptroller and registrar office that's located in Philadelphia, aka the Postal Service Department.
Yes, for the United States. Yes, indeed. And then the national treasury is here, and then the corporate one is there. So the national treasury, you can Google United States National Bank, and it will bring you to Portland, Oregon, which Portland, Oregon is actually a part of Washington originally. So, but we had, and Morris, remember, we had 7 capitals. We always had 7 capitals. One capital was for erudition. Another capital was for media and arts and entertainment. Another capital, which is Khalifa territory. That's arts and media and entertainment. That was our capital. That's why the Mount of Olives is there, but they called it, instead of Mount of Olives, they called it Hollywood. Here was federal, everything that has to do with federal. That's why this is called Federal Way. And Federal Way goes from Olympia all the way up to above Seattle territory. From even in the 1800s, it went that far. And then over there on that side is like New York is the financial capital, not the banking capital, but the financial as in securities and things like that. And then Charlotte was at one point the same thing, the banking capital. It was banking, not finance, but banking. And then over here was judicial everything. Judicial everything. Everything federal and judicial was here, and still is, actually. And then Florida was the capital also. The land of flowers was the capital also. That was the capital for, I believe, agriculture. That was our agricultural capital. So we've always had 7 mountains that were called capitals. And then wherever the Moors needed to go to become more erudite in whatever that is, whatever it is, they would go to that temple, that capital, that place, and become erudite. You know, if our sons and daughters decided that they wanted to become great at agriculture, they would go to Land of Flowers. And I'm just using that as an example, but I think that was more Land of Flowers might have been agricultural and horticultural and botany and things like that, those sciences. And then Louisiana was another capital as well. So our capitals went to, when we came out of the Grand Canyon and the different parks, Yellowstone National Park, those places are they specialize in certain things. So, you know, Philadelphia was a capital where us and the subjects came together and agreed to do what we are coming out of, what we have come out of. That's the capital that Philadelphia was. But as we know, New York was a capital also. And then here, this was an ancient federal capital here, and a lot of the ancient things are still here. You know, and with us uncovering everything, there's going to be even more so. So, mythic for meditation and much insight. Yeah, there was also a metaphysical capital, and I'm not sure where our metaphysical capital is, but some of you may know. I think it's in the Midwest, though. So
Islam, probably Utah, as in Judah. Probably.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know, and then sometimes the hybrids will go out into the desert out there in the Midwest and have what they call Burning Man celebrations. That's supposed to be, you know, whatever it is. I believe it's an enactment of some of our spiritual things that we do. So, with that being stated,
Islam, I just have one question to ask the good brother who demonstrated so bravely. Have you put your state on land? Have you declared that you domicile on the land and the whole state is on the land?
Pennsylvania has been done.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, it's been done.
Right.
And we can look in our. Mm-hmm. Oh, excuse me. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Are you referring to territory? When you say state, are you reference that to the territory?
Well, yes, taking it from the corporate and bringing it into the de jure, and along with the map stating that, you know, the territory, you know, the land is on the land and not on paper.
Okay, Islam, thank you.
Yeah. And we don't really drag it from them. We created anew on the land. And Pennsylvania has been done, and there's also been a constitution put on the public record there by one of the Moors at that territory. Okay.
Islam.
Islam.
Greetings, everyone. I'm here just listening and exploring how to address a situation. I know one of the things I plan on doing is leaning them. However, I just want to be able to have the services that I I think I'm entitled to. So I'm a member of AAA.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And my birth month is in October. I have not renewed their sticker, which means I haven't paid any taxes. There are some demonstrations that I need to do in order to, I mean, I've done some, but I haven't completed the process. But one of the things I know I did not want to do was to go and, re-register my tag.
Mm-hmm.
So the other day I was having some mechanical issues with my vehicle, and I needed to get it to my mechanic. And so from past experience, because I had a car that was sitting in my yard at one time that I wanted them to take someplace, and they told me, oh, because the tag isn't current, we can't move it. So I recall that conversation. So I let them know, before committing to the service, that I don't have a current tag, I don't have a current sticker. And then they were letting me know that they would not render the service I needed because I didn't have a current sticker. So I plan on leaning them on that. But there's, I'm thinking that we may need to start our own, or, as far as a service similar to what they have, rather than battling with them to provide what they should provide.
So,
any thoughts?
This is my thoughts on that. The AAA needs to be restated. And then when you restate AAA, they will send the service. When you restate AAA, but you also have to restate your tags. The tags need to be restated. And when we say restate, are you familiar with what restating means?
Just rewording the negatives for the positives and our benefits.
Rewriting and put in and instead of it being, let's just say Pennsylvania, state of Pennsylvania, you're just moving it to Pennsylvania.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're notifying even the subjects in the office of DMV, because DMV we're the original DMV, or Department of Motor Vehicles rather. So Department for Motor Vehicles, we're the originals. So you want to restate your documentation. Have you done a right to travel document as well?
I have not done that as yet. I'm still,
Okay.
moving through the process. But,
Okay.
So that is something I will need to do, is the right to travel.
Yeah.
I do have a statement on that, though, but I think I have not implemented it.
Yeah. If you just Google Moorish American right to travel, a whole bunch of stuff is going to come up. Don't be distracted by some of the stuff that comes up. Look for what you're looking for specifically. And the documents will be there.
Okay, so I would be sending this to the AAA office when I do this.
Yeah. The subjects in the office of AAA. And also you want your tags to be current tags. So that process needs to be restated. That process needs to be restated also. So we're working through and restating everything. It has to be restated. All of it has to be restated. And some might think that that's unnecessary. It's necessary. It's necessary. It is necessary.
Okay, I'm a bit blurry on when you say restate the tag for it to be current. I can understand the paperwork for AAA, but as far as a tag?
So whatever documentation is used to obtain a tag, this is what we've been doing. And I more as I have to tell you that there's something else that's been coming through on that whole right to travel piece. But we'll talk about that in a minute. Restatement means any application for a tag renewal, any application needs to be restated by you. Mm-hmm. You restate that application. And all that means is you're going to look at whatever they're asking for on their application for renewal, and you're going to rewrite that and issue it from your state. And that can be a little bit confusing, but to simplify restatement, what restatement is, all restatement is you create the application, the same one that they have, you create it, and make any edits to it with regard to nationality, and then forward it to them, and then send it to them from your state. Your state is not state of Pennsylvania. Your state is Pennsylvania, the land. And I'm just using that as an example. We have to move everything over to the land. That's what we're doing, moving everything over to the land. Anything that we need, we can have it, but we have to move it over to the land.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, and I'm in the land of flowers. So.
Okay. So then you wouldn't say state of Florida, you would say Florida. Because the state of Florida is a corporation.
Yes, ma'am.
The land is Florida. So you take their renewal application and print it out, and then you make one that looks exactly like it, as close as possible, and then you put Florida on the top and make sure that it says Florida. And then, instead of name, you put appellation. Instead of address, you put mailing location. Mm-hmm. And then send it to the subjects in the office of whoever it is that's asking for that to be renewed. Because see, did that help with explaining what it's going to look like?
Yes, but I need to go through the process because they've revised how they do things. So I'm not sure if they're actually handing out a physical application, but I will definitely ask for it.
Yeah, they're probably not. A lot of that is going virtual because in a minute it's going to be gone completely. and we're going to be issuing our own everything. And that's what we're preparing for, and that's why we're restating everything, is because as they go away, we still have to keep the processes in place. Because their money system, their fiat system is no more. So, but we're going to be, as we move into those offices and things, the processes still have to be in place so that there is order maintained on the land. So, and I can give a quick example of what restatement looks like. For example, I'll just pull up a form of some kind. So let me pull up a form of some kind. Office driver's license. Renew your driver's license. Okay, I'll just see about pulling this one up. Oh, they're changing everything. I tell you, they're changing everything. Okay, they don't need, let's see, extension request. Okay. Can you all see this form on the screen? Okay. Now, where restatement is concerned, this is how we restate. What we do is we take whatever is here and where here it says Washington State Department of Licensing. So the way we do it is we say and again, if this is difficult, you can always just print out whatever the form is and then create your own in Word, okay? But this is the way we would do this. We would say, this is how we would do it. We would say Washington Licensing Ministry. Okay, and then we would go through and just change and fix and edit and do whatever needs to be done, you know, and I won't do all of that right here, right now, but I'll just do a couple of things here just to show you what restatement looks like. And, you know, you could do this in blue or black if you want to do it in black. However you choose to do it. We restate whatever it is. And then when it comes to the form, here it says Washington driver license number. This is correct because the land is Washington. It's not state of Washington, and it's not a department. It's a ministry. And then when you come to here, this is most important when we're doing things like this, where it says here Seattle, Washington, and 98124 and all of that. We could do it this way. we must spell out Washington. And when you spell out Washington, if you choose to do the 8-digit 98124 space 52 whatever that was, you can do it that way. We don't put the dash, and we just restate according to our status and that we're on the land. Believe it or not, there's a huge difference between Seattle, W-A, which does not exist, and Seattle, Washington, because the land is Washington, okay? And then whenever you're doing forms like this, you don't use any abbreviations, okay? And when it says for validation only, you can even go in here and put validated by Article 3 court and the justice, let's see, and the date of that validation, you know. Okay. And then if you want to add that, you can. We use commercial date, and commercial date is 2023. The ancient sovereign moon date is 1442. The sun date is 1443. When you're doing commerce, when you're engaging in commerce, you use commercial date. Okay? And this can be done in red, blue, green, however. Okay? So, and then when it says mail this completed form, and it's not a form, but mail this completed form and a $5 non-refundable processing fee. You would send $5 in Moorish Salvadorarium with a lien on the Washington Department of Licensing and all of that. Okay. And then what we normally do with these logos is we add a little color to the logo, because we don't really deal in you know, black logos and things like that. So we would take our pen and just put a little bit of red in there. You know, change things around just a little bit. Take the time to add. You know, I could change these letters, this D and this L. I could remove it out altogether and put a red D and L there. Or, you know, however I choose to do it, just so that the logo is our logo and not theirs. Okay, not a dead logo. So, in the chat, there's a question that says, as Moors, are we foreign nationals because of Sundry Free Moor Act? No, we're not foreign nationals. We are not foreign nationals. You can't be foreign on your own land. And it doesn't matter who you're dealing with, you can't be foreign. There's a question in the chat that says, which program are you using? This is not a program. Whenever you pull up a PDF document, anytime you pull up a PDF document, these tools are going to be at the top of the page where you can save the PDF document. You can print it. You can change the colors and do whatever, put letters there, and so on and so forth. Okay? So this is not a program. I don't have any special program for this. Whenever I pull up a PDF document, I can just make the changes here. Okay, I can highlight the PDF document, add letters, type in letters or color things and so on and so forth. It's a very limited amount of things you can do with this PDF viewer, because it's really a viewer. It's a PDF viewer. And it comes with the computer. This is not a specific program. So with that being stated, Empress Angel and Empress Rosetta and Empress Shasha and Empress Karima. Empress Karima, are you here?
Gratitude for the information.
Islam Empress. Thank you for the question. And again, it may seem like a lot of work, but in reality, nothing exists until we put it on the record. Nothing exists until we do it. Because any of the stuff that we're looking at, treaties and things that you pull up online that's in this black ink that we didn't put out there, it doesn't exist until we state it properly. So.
Yeah, Islam.
Yeah, Islam. So, Empress Angel, do you want to go do a little bit on the document, or you want to wait until next the home document?
Remember I stated in my voice text to you, spirit leads, and today the spirit led. So I'm okay with that. And I said, all right. And so that was a spell, and it came, manifested.
Yeah, it did. Now that I think about it.
Yeah. So yes.
So you wanna do read a few a page or two, or how do you want to do, or wait until next time?
Well, I guess we can get a few, done today, and so that's for the next time.
Okay.
So yeah, sure.
Why don't we wait till the next time, and that'll be part 2, because we did it on Thursday, and then so this next Thursday will be part 2 of the housing process.
Oh, actually, today is dear God. Oh my goodness, today's Sunday.
Yeah. Yeah.
I be all turned around with the days. But I do for real. Oh yeah. Goodness. Yes. All right. Yes. For some reason, I thought today was like Thursday.
Yeah. You know what, Empress? I think that there is something in the energies, because the energies have seriously changed in the last 2 weeks. The energies have changed, and it's all in our favor. But it can cause a little bit of discombobulation, just a little bit. We have to actually get our bearings. I was like that last Sunday. I was working and didn't realize that the meeting was at 3 instead of 4. So, and I was so busy in that paper, but yeah. So let's pick back up again on Thursday.
Very good.
Yeah, and at some point later this year, as the resources continue as we continue to access the resources, we're probably going to start having our congressional assemblies more often than just 2 days. We'll probably start having it 3 or 4 days a week.
Okay.
Wow.
But we'll look at it. We'll take it according to whatever the ancestors say. We'll let the spirit lead us on that. It is a shift in the air. Islam, Justice Asadullah. Islam, Justice Kansu.
Sister Karima put that document she was going through last week. I didn't get a chance to get it, so go through it. The one she was about to demonstrate. Let me try again so I can get a copy of it.
Oh, yes. Empress Angel can send you a copy of the document.
Okay, yes. Can you put your email in the chat so I can send it to you?
I will do.
Thank
Yes,
you.
and anyone else who wants a copy of the document that Empress Angel is going to be going over on Thursday, is continuation again of the and I'm hoping that Empress Rosetta and Empress Karima and Empress Shasha will read part of the documents as well, since they were working on it as well. I'm hoping. Anyone else wanting a copy of the house?
Yes,
We don't want to put anybody on the spot, but yes.
Islam.
Islam, Empress.
Would someone please send me a copy of the fiat money that we changed over to when we changed over to fiat? I mean, the money that looked like.
Oh, the fiduciary money.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, and I think it's a copy under the video where we did the burning ceremony. There's a copy of it under there.
What do I do? Just Google it?
Go to Light Tajiri Bay YouTube channel.
Okay.
And look for the fiat burning ceremony video.
Okay.
And it'll be under that video in the description. There's a link to it.
All right.
Islam.
Islam, Empress Cynthia.
I'd like a copy of that, if that's possible.
Is it the document that the Empress
Angel? Correct.
Can you add onto your email? Because I'm copying all the emails that I see before me in the chat, so I can just send it all to everybody.
How do I do that?
Send it all to everybody.
Morris, all we have to do is keep doing what we're doing. You all can see that it is absolutely a wrap, and everything is unfolding the way it should for us. Don't be afraid of the testing. Let the testing be what it is. Just stand. Continue to stand. We are the law. We are the government. We are the state, the empire, the nation, the gods. Always have been. We were that before we ever even came here. So let's just keep doing what we're doing. Yeah. I'm excited for us. Islam, Empress.
Okay, so I'm just here thinking. The thing that they give us is like a little peel away sticker. That has like a new year each time.
Mhm.
In my document, am I saying basically having them give me an updated sticker without registering with them? I mean, how do I word that? Because that's what the AAA wants. It's not a plate. It's just a little sticker.
Right. So you can give them Dolarium for the sticker, and then you could even issue the sticker yourself. And you would issue it as a historic sticker because of your status, a historic sticker. And they all know what a historic sticker is. It does not have to be renewed with them.
So now I'm questioning, where would I be able to ascertain a sticker of such?
So either you can, and this is going to be your research to do. Now this is the way I would do it. I would issue my own sticker, and it would be a forever sticker. But you can have them to send you a historic tag based on your status.
Okay.
You'll have to do the research on whether they issue AA stickers or historic stickers or not. You'll have to do the research, but you can either have them issue a historic sticker, and really they kind of can't issue our stuff. We actually have to issue our own stuff. Mm-hmm. And then we have to stand on who we are when we do that. But we have to use the process, the proper process. Mm-hmm. And notification. And when notification happens, they will update whatever it is that the subjects will update our system.
Got it. Thank you.
You're welcome. We have to be willing to do the research, and this is for all Moors. We have to be willing to do the research, and we have to be willing to, dig through and find out whatever we can find out, and then restate whatever it is.
Islam.
Okay. And when we restate everything, that will make it so that it's lawful and legal on our land, Islam. They're packing their bags, I'm telling y'all. They're packing their bags. They're shutting down. Islam nobility.
Islam, concerning the sticker for the car, she can make the sticker non-domestic. Non-domestic sticker with no expiry date, because you don't expire, so you should make a non-domestic sticker, which means not part of the corporation.
Okay, but it's not non-domestic. She's on her own land. She's traveling on her own land. So if anything is non-domestic, it would be thinking that a corporation is running around on our land, telling people what to do. That's non-domestic. That's foreign. That is so foreign.
Yeah, it's not. But I mean, okay, I understand what you're saying, but looking at the if you give me the document for the corporation.
The corporation is not. That's not a thing.
It's big.
Yeah. We're the creditors to that bankrupt thing. We're the creditors to that bankrupt thing. And because we're the creditors to that bankrupt thing, we have to issue our own things to ourselves, because that's what self-governing means. So we have to get used to the process and what that looks like, because self-governing has to be orderly and not chaotic. We have to all agree on a process. And when we all agree on a process, that's the process that we go by. See, I'll say this, and there's a little bit of static coming from somewhere. Just a minute. Let me see. Just a moment. Okay. So we have to get used to issuing our own things and standing on what we issue. Because, again, they're bankrupt and they're not going to be here like that. They're clearing out of the buildings and all of that. And we don't have to confront anybody. All we have to do is keep sending the word, just like the noble did. He sent the word. We'll get it. They'll get it, and we will get it this year, knowing on how to move forward peacefully. Because that's the key to all of this, is peaceful, lawful, and legal movement. Legal being legal by our standards and not anyone else's. And that involves knowing the process. So when I say using delarium, just like our brother did, and let me state really quickly again what Justice Kaftoon did in order to close them down and have them to step aside. He did an accepted for value document. He did a lien. He did an indemnis facier, which is insurance. He did a allodial title. He did the fiduciary document. He did a dolarium, Morris Sovereign dolarium gold back exchange. He sent the U.S. bankruptcy document. He of course put forth his national status. He did a termination of all corporate contracts, and I believe someone said something about remember to issue a bond. That's what was done, and this is the same thing. He followed the protocol. Doing the video says that puts us under their jurisdiction. Not when it's restated, and that's why. Thank you, Empress Shatali, for what she put in the chat. She said she saw a video from one of the territories. A brother was doing a video, and he was stating that AA 222141 puts Moors under foreign jurisdiction. It does not. When it's restated. When it's restated. And we have restated AA 222141. If you don't restate, then you're enacting going under a dead, debt-ridden corpse. That is why we restate and recreate and reform and reconstruct and do a renaissance on all of the documentation.
Islam.
And issue it from our sovereign state. Okay? Islam.
Islam. Ikichi Azuki Elbe Virgin Islands territory.
Yes, Islam.
Just wanted to enlighten on the same path that we are on. Where I'm located in the United States Virgin Islands, basically the United States of America government, occupational government, basically purchased these territories from Denmark in 1917. Now, before that, King Christian, who was the ruler of Denmark, basically freed the slaves, and we had full control. It's just basically their occupational government. But when the United States of America basically purchased the territory or the occupational government in terms of how they do business, the king notified the people and let the people know about the transfer. So, in 1928, the United States of America Corporation here in the Virgin Islands basically created what we know as the Department of the Chambers of Commerce. And through the Chambers of Commerce, they actually have all the other subsidiary departments or the municipality, which they have as the office of the Lieutenant Governor, where they have, basically our trust. They hold our trust documentation or everything else. But through their organic act of the Organic Act for the Virgin Islands of 1936. 1936. Mm-hmm. They basically had a specific structure in terms of how they were dealing with the business here in the territories in terms of the three basic structures of islands. Well, the three islands that they claim that they control off of the occupational government, which is St. Thomas, St. Croix, and St. John. But in 1928, they even did the Registrar Department, which is the department which issues the birth certificate, death certificate, or quote-unquote the 14th Amendment citizenship contract in terms of how they proclaim that life birth or the certificate of birth and transferred it into their tool in terms of how they actually allow us to convince us that we are that nom de guerre or the nomen or the contract, and they allow us to basically place our appellations on that contract, which enforce contract law, not knowing that we were not the beneficiaries of that contract because it came from the Registrar Department, which is actually a department under Title 28, 3002, Section 15A, which reiterates that of the corporation is the same. So as you were mentioning through Masonic order, here, in order to obtain your constitutional rights, you have to be part of the Fraternal Order of Business, LLC, LTD, 501, C3, S Corp, C Corp. But even in the structure of business, through the they're operating as companies, and even through operating as companies, they're still collecting through this privileged and benefit program, in which they call the citizenship program. And this is where we are actually caught up under Article 3, Section 2 as a creation of them. But through the United Nations Declaration, the Rights for Indigenous People, we are indigenous in itself. And when we denounce the occupational government in terms of how we do the nom de guerre business in their format with our appellation gold-backed signatures, we would now be creating own official, or not even created, but we already have, as the Moorish National Government. And this is where we are subjecting all of our power of attorney, because basically this is the same structure in terms of what they use under their United Nations national congressional order. But that was implemented under, I think, the 1930 Brent-Williams Act, when all the nations followed suit to go through and accept this monopoly form of money, but which we know they were utilizing to exchange as currency, or the energy which we transmit from, the life that we exist. The gold that's around our heart and the silver that's in our blood that keep us healthy. So basically, once we, as I said, we denounce the occupational government in terms of even through forms of English or literature, or the way we learn how to write, where we have a heading and then a topic. We were taught to place the United States of America as a heading, but they were never a heading, because they're a charter from the Roman Catholicism, and we are not basically captured under all of that ancient information or ancient stuff that they were doing before our acknowledgement in terms of what they were doing.
Okay. May I interject here?
Yeah, go ahead.
So the stories that they've told about who you are not the true stories. You all have always been there at the Virgin Islands. St. Thomas, St. Croix, all of them, those islands were and still are part and parcel of America. So, to begin the remedy there at the Virgin Islands, first, you know about declaring your nationality and things like that. I know you know about that, because you wouldn't be here if you didn't.
Nationality.
So you mentioned an office that's holding a trust, right? Let me ask you, have you seen the trust document that office is holding?
No, they just basically issue permits and licensing,
right.
Which basically they're right power of attorney to go into something, but based on the documentation and how they issue it, we are never the beneficiaries. We're always the debtor that's responsible for their fraudulent acts.
Okay, so then you have to restate the documents that they issue. And on those documents, you make yourself the creditor, because, see, the creditor, it's not the debtor's responsibility to say, that's my creditor. It's the creditor's fiduciary responsibility to step up and say, I'm the creditor and you're the debtor, you owe, not me. So restatement, first, of the Constitution for the United States. That Constitution is your Constitution at the Virgin Islands. But it's the United States that's the creditor, not the debtor United States. See, we've always been the States United, and so what they did was they hypothecated that and subrogated that, attempted to. They attempted to do that and fool everybody into thinking that they're the real States United, but they're not. We are. So we've restated that. Are you familiar with the fiduciary document that we have on the public record?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Only one that I did all the mailing process. When the governor of the Virgin Islands received the information or our documentation, we noticed a lot of different changes that occurred here. Now,
yes, because of your documentation that you sent.
Exactly, because basically
beautiful.
we already. I'm sorry for being a little muffed. But what we did, we already informed them of who we are and the treaties and the Constitution and everything else that back us. And from where we're not actually introducing that under Title 18, 1028 identification, there's three forms federal. This is basically format in terms of how they're actually having people giving up their consent, not knowing what is applying or what is happening through the process of these forms of identification based off of the documentation and how we are implemented in this system.
Okay.
So, yeah, we basically gave them the information, and we realized the change within their processing. So right now they're having more operations, and what they're stating based off of all the demonstrations that we did, we saw a price increase in terms of the revenue.
Yeah.
But we basically know that because we took ourselves off as being the collateral for what people think money represents, so they're having operations in terms of having our Moabites and Canaanites and Moorish nationals being subject to certain contracts by threat, duress, and coercion. And because a lot of people do not have that specific form of erudite knowledge to stop these agents or agencies in their tracks, they have to go through the process of thinking that they're black, Negro, colored, Caribbean.
Okay. So here's my suggestion with regard to that. My suggestion directly to you and anyone else from the Virgin Islands that hears this, you save yourself first and the others will get it. I know you're concerned about them. We're all concerned about everyone who's still thinking that they're Negro, Black, Colored, and African American. But the best way for us to help them is to help ourselves first. So demonstrate your status with regard to what you know and begin restating the documents. You all are doing some powerful work there. We send our highest honors to you. We're so excited and so glad that you're there and that you're awake. You have our support. Anything that we can do, you have our love, our honor, and all. We are one. We're with you. Keep doing what you're doing. At this point in what you're doing, try not to worry too much about helping the whole island, because they're going to be helped as you help yourself first. Because, see, this is the thing that the sovereigns need to know. The sovereigns need to know that as long as there's one sovereign who has helped themselves, it's changing the system for everyone else, whether they know who they are or not. Okay? So the work that you all are doing, keep doing that. Try not to distress about everyone else who still thinks they're Negro, Black. Don't worry about them. They'll wake up, because the system is constricting. It is tightening up around those who are still in it, so that they can wake up, to help them wake up. And meanwhile, you all are paving the way for them and going before them and demonstrating fearlessly before them, so that by the time they come, the way will already have been cleared. Okay, we've had to do that as well here at the mainland, but we're all doing it together. So, my suggestion to you is that, and then begin to restate the documents. We just showed how to restate documents. So, for example, documents with regard to driver's license and, ID cards, because you mentioned 1508, I believe you mentioned, where is talking about driver's license, passports, and another form of ID. Exactly. In the absence of a national ID, restate that 1508. Restate it. And when we say restate it, just rewrite it, put it by affidavit, and forward it and send it to whoever it is that's pretending like they don't know that the heirs are awake and that national IDs exist. Because they do. National IDs exist. And then when you restate it by affidavit and put a copy of your ID, your Moorish ID there, and put in the document, this is a Moorish ID, identification card rather. Don't use any abbreviations, okay? For whoever is doing that.
Yeah, sorry. We were having some issues because basically our consulate sent our documents. Everything came through beautifully. There was not a problem, but one of a relative, a kin within our I wouldn't say family because that's condescending, but our household,
your clan, your tribe,
our clan,
your nation,
didn't know that we were basically doing our nationality. So when basically she returned our IDs to the postmaster, stating that, well, the address is correct, but this person is not anyone to this clan or family or to this postal service. So since then, we're having trouble receiving any information from the postal service. So we're going to actually lien the postal service and all the basic, agents or.
May I make a suggestion?
Definitely.
Begin printing out your own ID cards.
Okay.
Because the people that are there are going to need them from you as they wake up. They need a place that's right there at the territory. Print them out, and if you want to get an ID card holder, or if you want to get a laminating and laminate your ID cards, do that, or whatever the case may be. But you are the consulate there. You and those who are demonstrating with you are the consulate. See, they know that. That's why you're seeing the changes. So you all need to start printing out ID cards for anyone there who needs them. They don't have to send here for ID cards. They can get them straight from you. And that goes for any Moors at any territories anywhere on this earth. Because you're the consulate by bloodline and birthright. Okay? And we know that it's a little bit of a responsibility. Just go into Word and put the information in there, print it out, cut it, laminate it, or put plastic film over it, or however you want to do that, and get everything out. You don't have to wait for it to be sent again, because you have the authority to do it yourself. And in fact, You were chosen specifically for this time, for that territory, because the ancestors knew you were going to wake up in time to start issuing IDs, because there's going to be a lot of Moors at Virgin Islands who need IDs. If you don't know what the IDs look like, we can put a picture of an ID up on the screen for you.
Well, I actually got kicked off of the conference call, but since I actually called through my cellular phone, I'm still in contact with you guys. So I'm basically just speaking and using my metaphysical mind to have the image imprint of what's actually happening right now, so I can have full visuals. But yes, this is what my Empress and myself, we were actually thinking about doing, because a lot of things that they're doing here, you know, they're stopping us from one, and we already know to a certain degree. But what we don't want to do is do anything that goes against our national government. So we would like to be able to even get connected more with more and more, so we can all be in accordance and operate under the same notion.
Okay.
So we can be fully under our congressional honor, if you understand what I'm coming from. I don't want to go beyond or below.
Okay. So let me say this about that. Don't put too much energy into someone outside of you being where that you need to be under, because you're not under anyone. We are the earth-wide government, okay? And that means that you are the earth-wide government, okay? Already. You don't need anyone's permission. You all are governing Virgin Islands territory, then go ahead and govern it. And then and when we say go ahead and govern it, we would encourage you to look at videos that we've done, look at videos by Grand Sheikh Tajiri Bey, look at some of the demonstrations that we've put on the public record. Just move forth in researching what government looks like. We talk about it all the time. We have almost probably somewhere around 400 or so videos. And there are many other Moorish governments who are governing as well. And then you use your best judgment on, okay, we like this process, we like this process, we like that process, and we like this. So let's pull these over for Virgin Islands, and this is what we'll use. Okay?
Okay.
You have wide latitude on how you run your government there. Because, again, your government and our government are one.
Exactly.
Okay? So there's plenty out there. At Light Tajiri Bey channel, there's lots. We quote the law. We point you to the law. We point you to using your spirit to show you what to do next and all of that. Okay? Ultimately, the highest commodity there is your spirit and your intellect, your bloodline, and your birthright. So whenever we think Virgin Islands government, we're thinking of you. We don't even think about foreign hybrids and foreigners and all of that. We're thinking about you all. Okay? And then we're here. We're here all the time. Take it one step at a time, one day at a time, and you'll be just fine.
Islam.
Also, nobility, WhatsApp. Do you have WhatsApp on your cell phone?
Yes, I do. There's probably a million people contacting you, but I usually text you now and again, but I know how busy running this government could be, so, I'm patient.
Yes. So feel free to send me something on WhatsApp, or we can even do video on WhatsApp or free conference call or whatever, because it's important that the islands know that we're there for them also.
Islam.
And we need you all to be there for us too, because we coming to visit.
Definitely.
Yeah, Islam indeed. we're so honored that you're here. It's a relief to me that government is happening at the Virgin Islands, at Jamaica, at UK, at all these different, it is it's a relief, because I know that as you demonstrate, the people are going to be freed. They're going to free themselves, because they're going to see what you're doing and what we're doing and what the other Moors are doing, and they're going to free themselves. So thank you so much for letting us know you're here and for speaking up. And let's connect you and I via WhatsApp sometime soon. Islam, Empress.
Okay, so I've gotten my my Southworth linen papers, and I do have the delirium in my email. So I think my next move is to go ahead and get a printer. And so then, okay, so when I do get my printer and I start printing these lovely instruments off, I just need to have a better understanding of how to use them and what capacity, are we using them.
Every capacity that you would have used fiat previously is where we're going with that, with our money. But we're doing it on an earth-wide scale. So with the scale being bigger, it's step by step by step. So whenever you send out an affidavit of any kind, send out delirium with it. Because your affidavits are court actions, and all law is commerce. And so whatever it is that you're doing, even if you just send $1 of delirium out with your affidavits, just so that the awareness is made that whatever you're sending, what you're stating on your affidavits, it is under your jurisdiction and not any foreign jurisdiction. So, because that was actually the one area where, the money area was where in the past, prior to delirium, where Moors would send out affidavits and nothing would happen, or it would be some reaction of some kind that was not desirable. And it was because, they were saying, well, yeah, we know who they are, but they keep using our military script to talk to us. And if it's military script, the military has to come in and do what they're paid to do. So we had to stop that. So even if you just send out one delirium, or have the delirium match the law that you're sending out. Whatever law that you're sending out, the delirium will enforce it. Just like what the brother was saying with regard to, the story that was done on him, on the documents in the news, not on him, but on the documents. And, when we have everything in a row, everything done, because he included everything in his demonstration. And that is what held back any type of violation. He did the whole thing, everything together. And delirium is the basis of our economic power and our economic authority. And delirium is state money. It's government money. It's also, what we use among the nations, because there are other nations who use our money as well. The Washita, some Washita nations use our money. Some Yamasee nations use our money. And so, and others, many, many others. So just include the delirium. When you send out an affidavit, send out at least one species or one specimen of delirium with it.
Gratitude.
That's how we started using it.
Awesome.
And it was very effective, because it proves that we know that we're the real commodity. We're the real gold. We're the real the government.
Right, because our delirium is backed by gold.
Yes, it is. It is, absolutely. And it's the only that I have seen. It's the only species that I have seen that's backed by gold. There are many Moorish species that have done silver, but ours are actually, delirium is actually more, it's gold receipts. It's actually gold receipts that show that we have the gold in our inventory, because we do. So that's the use. That's how we use it now. We are expanding the use of it as we continue to move forth. We're expanding the use of it to anything that was manufactured or created or built before 1971. That is the next demonstrations that we're doing with delirium, which is automatically going to encompass our ancient temples, any ancient technologies, which is all of them. And that's the thing about conveyances that were made last year, year before last, is that's still our technology. So we're going to be moving forth that way as well. Again, government is a daily situation where we just keep moving. We just keep moving forward. Take it a step at a time. No rush. We're here forever. And everything already belongs to us. We just need to know we desire to know the processes. And we know them. We just got to remember them. So the public record is the help with that. The things we see on the public record is help. But the things we see on the public record is not the law unless we put them there. So with that being stated, Empress, I hope that helps with regard to the delirium question.
Yes, it does.
It's fine. Are there any other comments, wisdom, questions of any kind for this Congressional Assembly? Islam Justice Council, UK territory.
Thanks for the Union Jacks that you sent me.
Yes.
I noticed the difference in the two of them. I have been going and looking on the trains and the buses, and I haven't seen any on there as yet. So
okay.
What I want to find out is how do I go about getting? I know you said earlier on something about make your own stickers, your own labels. Mm-hmm. But how do we go about getting them on this vehicle?
My question is, before you do that, we know what's not on the vehicles. Now we want to know what is on them. Okay. I would love to, if you could photograph.
I will do.
I would love to see what markings are actually on there, because that's going to tell us, again, how they're operating. And at some point, yes, they're here on these public transportations here and in some of the other territories, but not all. That might be something that is going to be one of the first things we do as this transition continues, is all you would need to do, Justice Kansu, and this is just for future reference. Right now we're just looking at what's out there on your public transportation. But the way that I was going to do it before I realized they were already on there was I was going to go to Office Depot and get some of those labels. And the labels come in different sizes, and I was going to get the bigger labels and print the flags on there and put them on there, because that's all they did.
Okay. I will.
Yeah, I would like to see what's on there, and also get a photo of the tag, because there may be something on the tag. I know there'll be something on the tag.
Okay.
Okay, and then we'll take a look at it and look through and see what we can pull from it, information-wise,
okay.
so that we'll know what our next move is at UK.
Okay,
yeah.
We'll do that. On it.
Islam.
I hear.
Thank you so much for all that you're doing there. Yeah. Is there any other questions, comments, or wisdom from any of this grand judicial body? Islam. Thank you to all the justices and everyone who is of the bloodline and birthright who is on this call is a Chief Justice on the Supreme Court for the United States and for the Moorish National Republic federal government and for the Moorish American Consulate. Know that. Yes, you have that authority. That is you. That's who we all are. As the authority that I have is the same authority that you have. So let's keep going. Let's keep governing. Islam nobility.
No, I was just basically affirming.
Yes. Know that. We are so excited that the Virgin Islands Consulate is present and accounted for. Islam. Chief Justice, we thank you for the work that you're doing there. Islam. And Chief Justice Consul. Yes, Islam.
Islam. That's one more question. The brother, the noble that was explaining all the documents that he sent, and there was a big hoo-ha about it. Has he got a website or that we could look at these documents?
Justice Kaftoon. Chief Justice Kaftoon, are you there? That's Chief Justice Kaftoon at Philadelphia Territory. He is on social media. He says that this is his page. I'll put it in the chat, Justice Consul, so that you can connect with him. That's the Facebook page there. With regard to Virgin Island Constitution not yet being adopted, the Congress there, which the Chief Justice that was just speaking, will be placing the Constitution for the United States on, because that's the United States Virgin Islands, on the public record, and then they will have a Constitution there. But he and the Moors there, nobility, what was your appellation, Justice?
Ikichi Azubawiki Elbe.
Ikichi. Yes, indeed. I do remember, I think I got something from you on WhatsApp. Didn't I get something from you on WhatsApp?
Yeah, I think you did, but like I said, I know how stressful it could be. Well, not necessarily stressful, but hands full in terms of running this. So I am patient in terms of connecting, so we can do what we do.
Thank you so much. I have committed to be in this for the long haul, and so I have to make sure that I don't burn myself out by trying to just be everywhere all at once. So I just take my time, take a deep breath, and get started and do things. I'm just excited that you're here and that the Virgin Islands is awake.
We appreciate you more than you think. Like, I can tell you this much. You have helped me and my Empress transform in terms of how you view. Now, initially, we know based off of ancient knowledge that women are the gods of this universe. And basically, through, the birthright from the womb man is where we got, our rights. So the honor and respect that we have for you in terms of a mother or one of our mothers, ancient mothers, to guide the ancient sons in terms of to provide, to protect, and to cultivate what basically the rules that the mothers have put forward to, guide this nation. So we appreciate you with humble respects and honor. And we hope that we can be
so much
in terms of making sure everything that we do would always stay in high honors with our ancestors and all the nobilities and all the empresses of this Moroccan nation.
All we need you to do is keep doing what you're doing and keep being yourself. That's what we need, and not need, desire. That's what we desire. Just keep doing what you're doing.
We rose our frequency. It took some time, but it's levels. It's a lot of people right now, they're really caught up in distractions, and the distractions is a lot of different isms and schisms. But if people learn how to tune in terms of the things that matter and not the things that matter, or like materialism or mundane things, they would. Life is a lot different, and how we perceive life is so much different. We were taught incorrectly. We were programmed, I should say. So we are now reprogramming or reprogrammed in terms of we're no longer a part of the human race per se. We are actually the human rays that give the light to humanity.
Islam, beautiful. Islam. Chief Akichi, that's just amazing. That is truth. We are human, RAYS, human sun ray. Islam.
Electromagnetic radiation.
Yes.
And we are in this prison, and we basically need to pay attention to the index of refraction, because that's basically not of quantifying degree, and every level of degree in terms of our erudite lessons, we would be able to get internal reflection where no matter what message is being passed from the original point, no different than it's 6 points, 7 points to 6 points to chart our destination, but the 7 point is basically the point of origin or the destination in itself.
Destination.
So
you actually have to have an open pineal gland to even, your third eye must be open, and it must actually be your first eye by then. By the time you get into refractions and refractive light and electromagnetic science, your first eye.
It's our basic of Pisces in general. And from there we square root of 3, 5, that goes on for infinity. That's why we operate under the compass and square to grid this plane that we exist on. But not under. We don't operate under anything. Everything, we're above everything. So when we operate in alignment, I guess is probably a good term. In alignment with. Thank you so much. With Islam.
Thank you so much.
We appreciate you, and we appreciate everything that is happening in this time and area, and in the Aquarius era, where all the information is being flooded to the people. And I hope that the people take heed, especially what's happening with the United States corporation. Just know that these people are corporations, and everything that they're sending to you, you have a right to denounce it. And we already know how to basically accept without dealing on their particular measures. But it's time for us now to illustrate everything that we're doing under our Moroccan heading. Because anything under the European Union or
the British Crown, the European Union, or what we thought was the British Crown and what we thought was the European Union.
Their democracy and there's no such thing as a democracy, because basically it's I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, people, for which it stands, the republic. We are the republic. That's why they want our appellations to move forward. They need our consent. We are no longer giving them consent. We are the nation.
Thank you. That is beautiful. Thank you so much, Nobility. You done jumped all up on the pedestal and just started preaching. Thank you so much for that. That is just beautiful. Your energy is beautiful. And Islam, just let your Empress know that my heart is feeling her energy. I'm feeling heart energy coming from your Empress. I can just feel it. Just let her know I said that, because I can feel her presence is very strong. Islam, thank you for that. Islam
is the reason why I am so connected to you, because she was the one in terms of having her heart chakra open to have things very acceptance, because I'm so protective of everything that I stay on my P's and Q's, paranoid and questioning everything. So I appreciate what she did and allowing me to calm in terms of who I was and who I am becoming. So if she's listening, I love you.
Thank her for us. We're grateful for her and for her energy. We do thank her. Thank you for that. Justice Howard has a poem that he wants to share. So we will actually adjourn with his poem.
Islam. Thank you very much.
Before he does that, when you were quoting the pledge, I'm hearing that now. I don't know if it's across the board, but I'm hearing that in some classrooms they're teaching, because I think I heard that there was like a young person and an older person was saying the pledge, and the older person said to the republic, the young person, which was a male, said, and to the democracy.
You know what? They're just begging for us to come and just continue being ourselves, and we're doing that. Yeah. When you hear things like that, take it with a grain of salt. Take it with a grain of salt, and that saying, "Take it with a grain of salt," means to neutralize the energy that comes with that. We're here, and this is where we are. We're on our own land, and all of that, everything will straighten itself out because we're here. And all we have to do is continue to save ourselves. Okay. So with that being stated, Justice Howard, we will once he's read his poem, we will adjourn until this coming Thursday, barring any meetings in between. We'll adjourn until this coming Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, and we're so grateful. Thank you to all of the territories that are here, all of the nations, because here's the thing, each territory is a nation in and of itself, is a state in and of itself. Okay, so this is actually a congressional assembly with heads of state here, or heads for state. Okay, so just keep that in mind, and that's every more that's in these congressional assemblies. Justice Howard, I yield the floor.
Yes, Islam. This poem is entitled "We Are the Sons for Her." All men stand for her. All men write songs for her. All men long for her. We restore her. We fight for her. We unite for her. With all our might for her. We represent for her. We are the supreme man for her. We clean the lands for her. So stand, original man, stand for her. I am the original for her. Islam.
Islam. That was beautiful. That is Islam. Absolutely beautiful. Empresses, Go ahead.
Gratitude. Gratitude. And my question is, when is your poetry book coming out? I mean, really.
Yeah.
It tends to come out like 4:30 a.m. in the morning because that's the time I'm born from my mother. So it just does that. I'm like, okay, I'll just listen inside of myself and I just write.
So will you be publishing a book?
I'm considering, now that you suggested that.
Yes, it is a suggestion.
I have artwork as well.
Yes, that's what my question was. Yes.
If I may strongly suggest that as soon as possible. Don't mean to put any pressure on you. Islam.
Word.
And with that, we hereby adjourn until Thursday. Peace and grand rising to the sovereign, original, indigenous, natural, divine heirs. Let's go.
Islam, peace and grand rising.
Islam, peace and grand rising.
Islam. Thank you all.
Love, freedom, and justice.
Grand rising.
Love.
Grand rising.
Peace and love.
Islam.
One love to all.
We will adjourn in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Peace.
Peace and love.